So anyway, did you want me to tell that story again?
Yeah, sure. And then I'll talk about some of the nightmares I've had too.
Because it was terrible. So I was probably 6, maybe 7, maybe 5. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
And
All you have to know is that I was a child and I was young and I was impressionable and I hated
and
doctor's
y-
offices.
you are significantly older than that, and you still remember it. So obviously, it had some long
It,
lasting event.
I remember it vividly, like unfortunately vividly. So I was, I don't know where to begin. So I'm afraid of needles. I have always been. I'm not into being stabbed with things. As I put it,
on
I'm not
the
into casual stabbing.
on the other hand, when I was a child, I actually used to like needles.
Yeah, I don't. That's why I don't want to get a tattoo. I don't want to get. I know everybody tells me it's not like a needle, but like,
No, it is.
come on, it's just a needle.
Everybody that tells you that is a liar. Like people who are like, "Oh, tattoos don't hurt," they're just
You
liars.
always see videos of people like in pain getting a tattoo, but
And then it's
anyway,
those same people who are like, "Yeah, it doesn't hurt."
yeah.
I
No,
mean,
it
I
didn't
still
even
want a
hurt.
tattoo.
Tears are streaming down their face.
I want a tattoo of a jellyfish, but you can carry on with your story about doctor's office and needles.
Yeah. So anyway, um, so as a kid, I was like terrified of needles. I didn't like doctors' offices, and especially like pediatric doctors' offices, like for kids. You'd always see like those posters on the wall, and they'd always have like some kind of something on them, and it was always just
Some kind of something.
it was always like that uncanny kind of like a doll, like a kid's doll from like the old days. Those are terrifying nowadays.
Hmm.
Like those posters were creepy. Anyway, that sort of aesthetic. So in this nightmare, had I don't know how I got into the doctor's. I don't know what I was there for. I sat down on the crinkle paper and I'm just like looking around in this doctor's office, waiting for the guy to come in, and I see this poster on the wall, and it's this little boy. I want to say he was just sitting on a log, and there was a tree next to him and everything. And on this tree, like I'm telling this whole story with my eyes closed because I honestly cannot remember it without it. And he's sitting on this tree. He's sitting on this log. There's a tree next to him with like a little door. Maybe there's like a couple doors. I don't know. But either way, there's like these little people walking out of the door. I don't know if they're like people or gnomes or whatever. They're really tiny. And so there's this kid sitting there. They're coming out of the tree to the kid, and it's showing them like opening his skin like a door and walking in. And first of all, I don't know what doctor's office I was in. I was terrified. And so I'm just like, okay, I don't like that poster. I'm just going to ignore it because it reminded me of the operation guy with all the holes in his skin and everything. And
Yeah.
so so the doctor walks in and I'm like, "Oh, thank goodness." I'm just thinking to myself, I don't know why I'm here. I just hope it's not for that.
I, I
And
hope they
so
don't have to walk into my skin.
so the doctor comes and he he I feel like I remember him hitting my knee with the little knee hammer thing.
What you gotta do is you gotta dodge it.
Yeah, yeah. Assert your dominance. But yeah, I feel like I remember him doing that, and then like I guess either I kicked too hard or I just didn't kick at all, and he's like, "That's not good." So, so so he tests my elbows and my knees, and I'm sitting there, not moving or moving too much. Again, I was 6 or 5 or
Yeah,
age, and
whatever.
so the doctor's like, "That's not good at all." You see this poster on the wall, and he points to it, and like it's playing out like an entire horror movie in my head. It's like panning over to the poster and like the music's getting creepy, and I'm just sitting there like, yeah, and he's like, so we're gonna have to do this to you, and I'm sitting there like, oh god, what do you mean we're gonna have to do this to you? That's not a real thing, is it? And I turn around and there's a tree like embedded in the wall, and then there's like a little door, and then he knocks on the door. These little people start crawling out, and he like ties me down on the bed, and I'm like looking there, can't move because I'm in a horror or I'm in a nightmare, and and these little people just start like grabbing my skin and opening it like a door, um, and they just start crawling
Oh.
inside of me, and I'm just sitting there panicking, like can't do anything. I'm just sitting there, like trying to cry. I can't cry. I'm in a nightmare, and so they're just doing this thing, and all of a sudden, I just start getting these thoughts like, "Oh my God, there's people inside of me. What am I gonna do? What if something happens? What is this?"
What if they screw up?
Yeah, that's the reason I don't like needles. Cause I'm always afraid they're gonna break. But
Oh,
yeah,
that's fair. Why did
yeah.
you have to do that? Why did you have to say that to me?
I can say
Why?
a lot of things and screw with people, but yeah. So that I wake up and I'm just traumatized, and of course I still remember it to this day.
Oh,
Uh,
of course.
2 decades later. Well, not
Mm.
even. I'm not 26, but
You know,
you
a
get.
decade and a half later.
I'm probably still gonna remember it. I'll remember it forever. But yeah, it was just this worst. It was the worst dream ever. Like I'd never
Yeah.
had a nightmare like that before, and I don't think I
Um,
ever have since then.
yeah, I don't think that's something you want to have. I don't. That doesn't sound fun.
Yeah, I've had other people tell me about their nightmare experiences,
Hmm.
and I'm just like, yeah, nothing ever is gonna compare to this.
Yeah, nightmares just aren't fun. Why do they exist?
Because our brains hate us. They want to get back at
Entirely.
us for not eating enough kiwis.